The concept and study of gender in early America is often relegated to discussions of white European women and the hardships they faced as women in the New World. Though this was certainly a part of the discussion, it is far from the whole story. More traditional narratives follow a similar vein as Mary Rowlandson's, an Englishwoman taken from her home by a group of Native Americans. Rowlandson was kept prisoner and compelled to do things like knit for her captors, an act which gave her value as a prisoner. Though she was eventually returned to her home, her discussion of the events reflects a sort of resignation to her capture and a desire for nothing more than self-preservation. This produces an implication that such capture was a known risk to women, especially in the New England area. Women such as Rowlandson faced numerous risks, especially in light of conflicts between other European countries attempting to settle in North America. Therefore, they faced threats not only from native populations, but English women in New England also faced the possibility of getting swept into English conflict with France and Canada. The lack of women in Canada's population posed a particular threat, as it led to the kidnap of English women to fill the deficit. The hardships faced by European women in North America, however, were nothing compared to those faced by women of color, particularly slaves. While white women faced a number of risks, most narratives, like Rowlandson's, ended in their ultimate survival. This was not always the case with enslaved women. The practice of slavery depended on the functional bodies of the slaves above all else. This encompassed the bodies of women for childbearing, placing a particular value on femininity as a conduit by which new slaves were produced. The bodies of female slaves were sexualized and sensationalized, looked at as almost otherworldly, and often treated with the same regard as livestock. The idea of motherhood, however, was not always a reality in the harsh environment of enslavement, so women unable to produce children lost value in the eyes of white society, who saw the failure in motherhood as a sort of failure in production in an economy where bodies were commodities. Even prior to being sold, enslaved people on the Middle Passage were seen simply as chattel, their only value being in their functional bodies. So in cases of illness, as in the case of one unnamed woman, white sailors saw fit to dispose of the slaves who would not bring them profit. While the experiences of white and enslaved women in early America were markedly different, they shared the common thread of value being placed in usefulness. The misogyny of early American society enforced the idea that women must be helpmeets, a gendered mentality that transcended racial divisions. The struggle of women, therefore, was a struggle for self-preservation in a world that sought to tear them down.